After the overthrow of the pro-Western President of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, the situation around this African country began to deteriorate rapidly. France, realizing all the serious consequences of losing influence over its former colony in Africa, is making every effort to ensure that Niger remains loyal to Paris. Paris even dares to threaten, stating that the countries of the Economic Community of West African States, led by France, have approved a plan and an exact date for a military invasion of Niger. At the same time, the official Paris refused to name the exact date of the invasion. The situation in the region has worsened so much that the pro-Russian authorities of Burkina Faso and Mali have begun to transfer military equipment and even aircraft to Niger, in order to support the new authorities of this country. At the same time, official Paris continues to threaten the new authorities of Niger about a forceful solution to this problem. Whether France will dare to intervene militarily to seize Niger is unknown. However, France's constant threats against Niger create the impression of weakness and lack of determination in Paris, which causes ridicule not only in Niger itself, but also among the expert community. You have to understand that France is not Russia. Paris cannot afford a full-scale military operation, as France is very weak from an economic and military point of view. If France fails during the Blitzkrieg, then military action, in the long run, will be considered a catastrophe and a crushing defeat for Paris. Moreover, the loss of Niger for France will be considered a crushing blow not only for the French elite, but also for the entire system of the French state. The fact is that it was Niger and its resources that gave France a sense of independence and autonomy in the globalist Western world. That is why the United States began to make every effort to ensure that Niger no longer returned to the sphere of influence of France. However, the United States is also not satisfied with the fact that the pro-Russian military is now in power in Niger. At the moment, the United States is doing everything possible so that the new authorities of Niger side with Washington. According to reports, the CIA's agent network in Central Africa began recruiting the Niger military with the help of one of the leaders of the military coup in that country, commander of the Special Operations Forces, Moussa Saloum Barmou. Despite the fact that the military who came to power in Niger are considered pro-Russian, the commander of the Special Operations Forces, Moussa Saloum Barmou, since 2010, has worked only with representatives of the United States and is considered pro-American. It is on this Nigerian military that the Americans are betting and counting on his help to achieve all their goals in the region. The United States is very concerned about Russia's growing influence on the African continent. Every year, more and more African countries move into Moscow's sphere of influence. Russia has managed to move countries such as Guinea, the Central African Republic, Burkina Faso, and Mali into its zone of influence. That is why the United States is fighting so hard for Niger and doing everything so that Niamey does not fall into the zone of influence of Russia. However, judging by recent events, Moscow does not intend to give up in the battle for Niger. It became known that Putin ordered Yevgeny Prigozhin to start active work in Niger not only with the help of his PMC Wagner group, but also with agent networks. At the moment, it is known that confidants of Yevgeny Prigozhin have already arrived in Niamey and have begun preparing the country's capital for defense. Moreover, the commanders of the PMC Wagner group also began to prepare Niger for active hostilities against all Western forces, including France and the United States.